Ava was born at 26 weeks gestation, weighing 1 pound and 5 ounces. Her parents were thrown into a world of preemie talk of brain bleeds, ROP, and oxygen levels. They were not only struggling with the question, would Ava see and hear, but would she live? When I met Ava, she was 6 months old. I was initially brought on the case to provide infant massage instruction and eventually became Ava's service coordinator. I was there to help Ava, but I found that the family needed so much more, and I hoped I could help. Ava didn't come home from the hospital till she was 4 months old. The family was facing many issues related to a newborn, but also specific to Ava's premature birth. She often cried and had difficulty falling or staying asleep. She was unable to take full bottles and suffered from severe reflux. As a provider, I faced a mom and dad that were fearful, tired, and overwhelmed emotionally, physically, and financially. When I arrived for our visits, Mom often apologized for her appearance, but she barely had enough time to eat, never mind get showered and dressed. Mom and Dad worried about Ava's development, her health, and they struggled with the anxiety of Mom's returning to work. I often questioned who was worrying about Mom and Dad. I realized that they were not only dealing with the raising of a premature infant, but also the trauma of Ava's birth. Mom often would talk about Ava's time in the hospital, referring to her as the $1 million baby. But what would bring Mom to tears was a small scar on Ava's leg from her days in the NICU. Dad often shares his concern with how Mom is adjusting to her return to work and how he is managing his time alone with Ava. I always found I could empathize with the family as a parent, but over time I realized they motivated me as an early intervention worker. I wanted to not only focus on Ava's development, but also how this family was able to bond. As Ava began to do better, so did her family. Mom found time to eat and faced her return to work and even her fear of leaving Ava. Both Mom and Dad faced new challenges that came with being parents, but I was there to support them. As an EI worker, my role is a lot like that of a parent. I am there to help guide the family and Ava through their challenges. Whether that challenge is Ava learning to walk or Mom facing that fear of returning to work and leaving Ava. I realized working with Ava and her family that sometimes it is more about the relationships you help build than teaching a child to take their first step.